With Invincible Season 1 ending, we are jumping headfirst into our next show, Sweet Tooth, which is airing on Netflix on June 4th. The comic had a 40-issue run and was published by DC from 2009 to 2013 from artist and writer Jeff Lemire. With Invincible, we were able to keep a good cadence going of weekly episode recaps, and we'd review the upcoming trailers every Tuesday. With Netflix, we won't really have the opportunity since they all launch at once. So hang with us as we figure that out, but once we saw the trailer, we knew we had to review the show. It looks amazing. Since the entire comic series is only 40 issues, we wonder how long they plan on this going. This could potentially be a miniseries, or maybe they try to get a few seasons out of it. The central story takes place after a plague ravages humanity and kills off a large portion of the human population. Around the same time, women start giving birth to mutated babies. These babies are actually hybrids, half human and half animal. Our story focuses on a young 9-year-old boy named Gus. Gus, like many of the children in his generation, was born as a hybrid between a boy and a deer. Gus was born to a very religious father, and he doesn't remember his mother at all. As we are told, she died when he was very young. They live on what you find out is a wilderness park sanctuary in Nebraska, and to keep Gus close, his father tells him that off of the property there is just a wall of fire. So essentially, everything outside of their area is hell. Gus, obviously being a little curious and being a little kid, he walks around and starts to realize that there isn't a wall of fire around them, just more woods. And since the population is at a fraction of what it once was, there's very little going on. So he sees roads, he sees telephone poles, but no other humans. So it's not like he is seeing things outside of these very mundane objects. Shortly after our introduction, Gus's dad passes away from the virus or the plague that took out the majority of humans, and Gus continues to live on his own on the sanctuary. While he is alone, a group of men show up on the property and attack him. It seems like they want to capture him and sell him based on the conversation that we see. And that's when we meet our second main character of the comic, Jeopard. Jeopard is a badass who kills the two men that are hunting Gus, and after some discussion with Gus, convinces him to leave the wilderness park and go on the road to go to the preserve where Gus will be safe. The preserve is a safe zone for hybrid children. The story plays out similar to books like The Road. Gus and Jeopard travel through this post-apocalyptic world and meet a number of different people, get put in crazy and dangerous situations. One thing that stood out to me is Will Forte actually plays Gus's dad, and there's not a ton on him in the books. I suspect that he'll play heavily in the first episode and maybe appear in a few more in some flashbacks. But it's crazy that they got such a big actor to only play such a small role. Jeopard is played by Nenzo Anozie, who played Zaro Zarandoxis from Game of Thrones. He saves Gus from two hunters who are trying to capture Gus. This appears to be Abbott, the main antagonist of the story, who wants as many hybrid kids as he can as he's trying to figure out and understand why they were born and why they're immune to the plague or virus that's happening and killing all humans. So he's using them for scientific experimentation. These appear to be cultists, who are another set of villains in the comics, who are led by a man named Glebhelm. They believe that God sent these hybrid children and almost celebrate them, but are extremely violent and really a giant question mark as far as what they do with kids when they capture them or get them or find them. So they are also on the hunt for Gus and other hybrid children. This is likely Dr. Singh. Dr. Singh is a doctor who is originally with the militia camp, attempting to understand why these hybrid children are being born, as well as why they are immune to the virus. I love the casting of Gus. This kid's absolutely adorable. And if anything, I think the aesthetics of the show are so beautiful that it really flies in the face of the art in the comic. And this is not making fun of Jeff Lemire's art, but the artwork in the comic is very gritty. So it kind of goes with the story a bit more since, post-apocalyptic world, gross, dirty, grungy, sticks out in your mind. But this trailer is absolutely beautiful, and it just feels very different than the comic. But I think that's going to attract more people to watch it. This might be Lucy or Becky. To be honest, I don't know if it's either of those two. This might just be a show specific character. Either way, what we're seeing here isn't something that I'm necessarily aware of from the comic itself. So it'd be great to know or cool to see what side stories they tell in this show. Great, so follow along if you're interested in Sweet Tooth, as we will be producing more videos about the show before it launches, after it launches. And then what we will do is, if the show gets picked up for a second season, is we'll do episodes kind of setting up what's to come and our predictions for future seasons. So follow along if you're interested in Sweet Tooth. We are also still doing the giveaway for 2 Invincible Skybound action figures, which we will be giving away to 2 lucky subscribers once we hit 1,000 subscribers. All you need to do to be entered to win is like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Please do that. It helps us a ton, and you'll be entered to win this great prize.